Means that it's time for another live Q&A all about eBay and Amazon dropshipping. We are here live. I have a bunch of people here in the live chat asking a bunch of questions. I think I just lost them because I just messed something up. But we're good here. We're also here on Instagram. If you guys have any questions, ask them over there. And guys, I have a bunch of questions saved up from the week, so I will answer those questions for you guys as well. All right, so let's get right into this. I'll start answering the questions that I had. If you guys have any questions watching this on the replay, just ask them underneath any of my videos or send me a DM on Instagram and I'll save up those questions, answer them right away, or I'll answer them during the live or both. All right, cool. So first question I had here from one of my subscribers on YouTube said, is it safe to share your eBay login details with a virtual assistant? All right, so in general, when you have a new virtual assistant, you don't want to share that information right away. You do want to build up some trust with the virtual assistant before you do that. And that does take some time to get there. And there's no reason you have to give them information like that right up front, because there's plenty of ways they can help you without having them log into eBay. They can come in and help you fulfill orders, and they don't need your eBay login information for that. And normally you can save your credit card information on different websites like Walmart or Home Depot. And so they can process those orders for you, and you never have to actually have access to your credit card information. Once you build up some trust, then you can give them access to your eBay account, but only till later. All right, so let's see who's here with some questions. We have Lazy Abram. Thanks for being here. Let me just fix my camera real quick. There we go, a little sharper. What's up, Lazy Abram? We have Bobby saying LOL, probably because I messed up this live stream again. It's been a while since I messed one up, but guys watching on the replay, you won't notice the mess up, but there was one. But we're good now. We have Bobby, don't say that, man. Okay, cool. Okay, what's up, Rich? How's it going, Rich? Thanks for being here. Okay, let's pop up another question I have up from this week. This question says, how many items should I delete on eBay at a time? I notice my sales slow down every time I delete bad listings. So what Adam is talking about here is he deletes listings that aren't selling well, or items that aren't selling well in his eBay account. He goes through and deletes a bunch of them, but he notices that after he does that, that his sales slow down. And this is something I've noticed too. It's something a lot of other people have noticed as well, that for whatever reason, the eBay's algorithm gives you a slight dip in sales every time you delete a bunch of items, even if those items aren't selling well. Why this happens, I don't know. It doesn't seem to make sense, and it doesn't, it's not even proven. It's just what we've all noticed. But a lot of us have noticed the same thing, so I don't think it's just a coincidence at this point. So I found that if I delete less than 1/8 of my store, I'm okay. I don't delete more than that at one time. And even if I do see a dip in sales, it usually comes up the very next day. So Adam, that does happen sometimes, and it's strange, but usually your sales will pick up the very next day. What's up, Foodie Marie from New Jersey? Okay, so let's pop on another question. Okay, so hey, Paul, this is an email I received. You have mentioned before Walmart items sell better than Home Depot items on Amazon. I just found that to be my experience, my personal experience. So the question is, how do you sell third-party, or do you sell third-party items from Walmart, or just sold and shipped items from Walmart? So that's basically the question. So what this person is asking is, when you're shopping on Walmart or fulfilling orders from Walmart or finding items to source from Walmart, what you're going to find is that there are items that are shipped and fulfilled directly by Walmart, and there's also third-party merchants who sell on Walmart, just like we do on eBay. So the question is, should you use those third-party merchants, or should you only use listings or items that are sold directly from Walmart? And I would say that in general, as a new seller, I would stick with just the ones that are fulfilled by Walmart. Those items will get out faster. There'll be easier customer service with those ones, easier returns with those ones. It's not too bad using the third-party merchants. It's not a terrible experience at all. It's just a little bit more difficult sometimes. And so it's something that I would suggest only adding in later on once you gain some experience. If you accidentally list an item that's fulfilled by a third-party merchant, I wouldn't worry about it too much. And if it's working for you already, then keep doing it. But just in general, I would stay away from it in the beginning, and you can add it in later on. But great question there. We have Matt here from North Carolina. What's up, Matt? Okay. Okay, so Mark asks a tough question, says, hey, Paul, you are very inspiring. Thank you, Mark, for saying that. I realize this question may be circumstantial, and though around what dollar point would you consider appropriate to start using TaxJar, also an LLC? Much appreciate the insight. So TaxJar is a service that we use to help us automate our sales tax situation. So we, as sellers, we do need to collect sales tax in certain states once you reach a certain level. And that can be kind of confusing because there's 50 different states and you have to know when you hit the threshold in all those different states. So the easiest way to do that is by connecting your eBay account, your PayPal account up with TaxJar, and TaxJar will actually let you know, hey, you've hit the threshold in 3 states. Now you have to start collecting sales tax for those states. So what I suggest you do is, at first you don't need this. You'll only need to collect sales tax for your state that you live in and any state that you have a physical presence, a physical connection with. But as time goes on, you start selling more volume, you will have to do this for TaxJar. And so around what dollar point should you start using TaxJar? Tough question. So I'm trying to remember at what point you hit the threshold. So it's when you hit a certain number of transactions per state and there's a certain dollar amount. So if you're starting to get over, it's just, I don't want to give you the wrong advice because I don't want you to say, well, Paul told me I only had to start using TaxJar when I hit $20,000 in sales a month. And that's why I stopped. I didn't use TaxJar and that's why I didn't know and blah, 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 because you do have to file if you hit the threshold. So I'm hesitant to give a number about this, right? I don't want you guys to get in trouble, but each state has a different threshold. I think it's, for a lot of them, it's like 250 transactions, if I remember right. I'm trying to look it up real quick. Wayfair decision. And 250 transactions can come really, really quickly. It's been a while since I looked at this. So yeah, I'm not on top of my game with this one right now. 200 transactions for some states. So that comes up really, really quickly. You sell 200 items into that state and you're going to hit that threshold. So if you see your volume starting to pick up, that's when I would start to look at TaxJar and really see, are you hitting the thresholds in those states? Do you have to start reporting for those states? And once you set up TaxJar, they make it really easy. They walk you through the whole process. So that isn't something that I would be too concerned about because they make it really easy to do that. As for the LLC, that's something that's individual for every different person. An LLC is, for those of you who don't know, a limited liability company. It's a legal entity. So it's you starting a business. And the benefit of that is there's sometimes tax benefits to it. There's liability protection for that as well. So it's really, really helpful to have that at a certain point and under different circumstances. It depends on how much you're worth, how much net worth you have that you want to protect. It depends on how big your business is. So that's why it's really advisable to do your own research and to look into talking with an attorney about your own particular circumstances. Okay, so I was close. Yeah, I said 250, but it's 200 transactions or $100,000. So what Jeff Bezos is here. Jeff Bezos, the man. Thanks for always being here in the live chats. Jeff Bezos says for a lot of these states, the threshold is if you sell 200 transactions into that state or $100,000 worth of items into that state, then you will hit the threshold for that state. And there are a lot of states that have this exact threshold right here. $100,000, and that's per year, by the way. So $100,000 per year per state. Most people aren't going to hit that, but 200 transactions as dropshippers, we can hit that pretty quickly. So that's really what the bigger concern is. Wow, guys, it's Jeff Bezos. So Joe has a really good question. Joe looks like he's running probably an Amazon dropshipping, an Amazon dropshipping business, and says so he's dropshipping onto Amazon. And one of the issues with dropshipping onto Amazon is that you have to worry about cash flow. So you sell an item on Amazon. Now you have to turn around and buy it from your supplier like Walmart. Amazon's going to hold your money for 2 weeks. For those 2 weeks, you have to put the money on put the purchase on your credit card. Then once Amazon releases the money, you can pay off the credit card. For those 2 weeks though, if you hit the max on your credit card, you can't do anymore. So Joe's saying he puts his store in vacation mode. I personally have been lucky enough that I have a high credit on my card, so I've never had to do that. But I do know plenty of people who have done that, and they've never had an issue with it. They say as soon as they turn their store on, everything starts working again. So I wouldn't be too concerned about that, Joe, personally. But you can also try a service like Payability if you wanted to. Payability will advance, going in and out. Joe, Payability will advance you your money up to 80% per day. There is a fee for that, but that's really helpful as well. See, I kind of got behind on the questions here. Gihan says, do you recommend using AliExpress to eBay dropshipping? I've experimented with AliExpress. There's a lot of opportunity there to use AliExpress because the items are much cheaper and you can sell them at a higher margin because of that. The downfall with AliExpress is that usually those items are being dropshipped from China. And when you are dropshipping from China, it's going to take a really long time to get there. But it does work as long as you're upfront about that. Sometimes you can get items that ship from suppliers in the United States. So you have to figure out how it works for you. It does work because I see people doing it. I just don't personally do it. And I'm going to be releasing a video soon talking about all the suppliers I use for my eBay dropshipping business. So if you don't want to miss out on that video, make sure to subscribe by clicking down below. But we are still going to answer a bunch more questions here. Okay, another question says, how much does a virtual assistant cost per month? Okay, so that really depends on where you hire the virtual assistant from and what you're having them do. So if you hire a virtual assistant to do something like product research, order fulfillment, and so those are like the two big ones, then it's going to be pretty cheap. Something like customer service might cost a little bit more. And if you hire from websites like Upwork tends to cost more than the one that I use, which is Online Jobs. Because when you hire a virtual assistant through Online Jobs, you pay them directly. Whereas with Upwork, they take a cut of the pay, and that just ends up raising the hourly rate for you. So I like hiring from Online Jobs, and I like paying them a salary, a monthly salary. So if you're paying them per the hour, we can get away with about $2 an hour. If you pay them per the month for full time, you're looking at like $500 a month just to hire the virtual assistant full time. And they work really hard. They're really, really hard workers. So it really depends on where you're hiring from, though I recommend Online Jobs, and what the job is, and also how you want to pay them, whether that's hourly or a salary. Okay. 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 Raymond says, have you ever considered opening a Shopify store now that you have more experience with e-commerce? So I've thought about this. I've actually tried it in the past and it hasn't worked for me, but that was a long time ago. It feels like eons ago before I knew anything about e-commerce. Raymond obviously has heard that story before because he says, are you considering again opening a Shopify store? So I have considered it. I just have a lot going on. You know, you can't do everything. You can't try everything. I wish I could. I don't want to stop eBay and Amazon dropshipping because they work for me. They make me money. So there's no reason I should stop doing that. I have to put time into that, even though my virtual assistants do a lot. I have my YouTube channel. I have my students that I'm coaching inside my training programs. So yeah, I have a bunch going on. And for me to spread myself too thin, everything is going to suffer because of that. I wish I could try everything, and I can't. So I do the best that I can to kind of play around and to teach you guys what I'm doing. Definitely would be something I'd be interested in doing in the future, but I have no plans right now. And that's just a good lesson in general, is that you got to pick something and go for it, right? You can't try everything and you can't expect to be successful at everything. Pick one thing, go all in on it, and really, really master that before you even think about pivoting to something else. And if you can hire virtual assistants and you can hire a team to automate what you're doing that's working, that will free up your time and allow you to do other stuff. There's no way I'd be able to run this YouTube channel and help out my students inside my training courses if I was doing my eBay and Amazon stores completely by myself. But because I put in systems and automation through my virtual assistants, I've been able to free up my time, spend more time on YouTube, spend more time with my students, and it's a win all around because of that. Well, first of all, thank you for watching my YouTube channels. You're saying that you learn just by watching, so thank you. eBay limited me to only 5 items now. So unfortunately, when you first start selling on eBay, they will sometimes limit you to just a few items. 5 is pretty rough. I always hate when they do that. Like, what are you going to do with 5 items, right? Call them up and tell them that you've been selling online before on other platforms. Tell them you sell on Amazon. Tell them you sell on Shopify and you've been very successful with it. And 5 is just not enough items. You're looking to really sell a lot. You understand customer service. You understand shipping. You understand returns. And you need more to sell more to make eBay more money. Don't say that part, but that's essentially what you're saying to them. So that sometimes works right off the bat. Otherwise, list up the 5 items, sell them out, and then keep asking for limit increases. You can call eBay every single month and ask for a limit increase, and they'll give it to you if you are selling and you're actually making progress and maxing out your limits and selling items, basically. Okay. Let's see. Have I tried Shopify? Answer that one. So Ellie Pro says, Paul, are you doing dropshipping using manual method on eBay? Yes, I'm using the manual method. I don't call it that. I mean, I do now because I've given up trying to win on this one. But what everyone calls manual dropshipping, what 95% of people call it is not manual dropshipping. There's very few people who are doing it completely manually. Completely manually meaning they aren't using any software at all. No software to help them do research, no software to list items, no software to reprice items, no software to automatically upload tracking numbers. It's very rare you'll find someone who's not using any software, but that's true manual dropshipping. But what everyone else calls manual dropshipping, yes, that's what I do. Yes, that's what I teach in my course. Yes, that's what I talk about on this YouTube channel. So if you've heard of manual dropshipping and that's what you want to do, I do the same thing. I just haven't called it that in the past because it's a misnomer. It's not Whatever. It's a pet peeve of mine. I'm not going to get into it. Suggestion here for my hair. Love your high top hairstyle as well, Paul. You should ask your barber to give you a skin fade on the sides. I don't know. What do you guys think? I've been growing out the top, and I kind of like it like curly up top. It doesn't look too great today, but it's looking pretty good. What do you guys think? Skin fade on the sides? Let me know. But that's a good suggestion. Yeah, so this person's asking me, do you have an idea about using Lowe's discounted gift cards? Yeah, they're great. I don't know what you mean by do I have an idea about them? Yeah, they work. They're good. There's some problems with them, but the problem being that if someone asks for a refund or a return, the gift card is sent to them, not you. So that's kind of like backwards and frustrating, because let's say, let me give you an example. You buy $100, I'm trying to think something off the top, like $100 tool set for a customer. You purchase it from Lowe's with a gift card. That customer then asks to return it. They return it, and the gift card, then Lowe's refunds on the gift card, and they mail a gift card to the customer. So that's really frustrating that they do that you don't get the gift card. But overall, it is worth it, and it offsets the cost of sales tax, because again, their sales tax program also really stinks. So it's pretty much impossible to become tax exempt on Lowe's. It's just not practical to become tax exempt on Lowe's. So the gift cards offset them. And there's some websites you can look around to find them. Otherwise, you can ask inside Facebook groups. A lot of people sell them as well. Let's see. Rich says, do I still offer a virtual assistant course? I do, but it's pretty much only available to people who are inside my eBay course, which, Rich, I know you are a member of Dropshipping Titans. So I think I have the link inside that course that you can find. Okay, so let's find some more of these questions saved up. I already answered that one. What's going on here? Okay, so Ed was asking, hey, Paul, I was just wondering, so when you're doing this more manual dropshipping method, how do you keep track of your orders? Because if you're using like a automated software, which we don't because we're doing manual dropshipping, they're going to pull in all the orders for you. So how do you do that? How do you get all your orders, get all the addresses, get all the eBay fees, and get all of that? So what we do is we download from eBay every day through the eBay file exchange. We download a spreadsheet that has all the orders on it. It has all the addresses on it. It has the quantities, the sale price, everything you need to fulfill the orders. Then once the virtual assistant fulfills the order, they put on that same sheet the cost of the item on the supplier's website and the order number. And then they add that to a long spreadsheet that we have full of all of our orders. And there's multiple tabs and multiple spreadsheets for every single month, so each file doesn't get too big. But that's basically the way it does. It's very simple. Simple is sometimes better. For now, that's the best solution. I think some people are making some better solutions coming out soon, which, of course, if I find a good one, I'll review it here on the YouTube channel for you guys. Okay, let's see this question. So this person said, should I drop ship or do Amazon FBA? I'm a new seller. So stay tuned. I have a video coming out comparing drop shipping versus Amazon FBA. I tried to make the video as unbiased as possible, but as a drop shipper, it was kind of hard, but I did the best I could. So that video will be coming out soon. I would subscribe to the channel if you don't want to miss out on that one. So how do you know if you're out of PayPal jail? So PayPal jail, as it's called, is when oh, my brother's in the chat on Instagram. Hey, what's up? So how do you know when PayPal jail is when eBay holds your money, or PayPal holds your money when you first start selling on eBay. And for the first 3 months, every time you make a sale, PayPal will hold your money until the item has been marked as delivered. So you'll know when you're out of PayPal jail when PayPal stops holding your money. You'll have access to that money right away, and you'll be able to withdraw it from your PayPal account right away. Okay, so some people here are completely manual. We have Dropship Jason, and we have Yusuf saying they are 100% manual dropshipping. So you guys get to use that term. So Ricky has a question. What's the easiest way for a beginner to start, I guess, dropshipping when they already have an eBay store? So if you have an established eBay store and you don't use it for anything else, then turn it into a dropshipping store. You can change the settings, make them optimized for eBay dropshipping, start putting some products up in there and just use it for that. If you already have, if you're still selling on that account, like let's say you do retail arbitrage, then what I would do is start a second account. It helps keep things organized, and call eBay and say, hey, I just started a second account. I already have my first account, it has a good selling history. Can you raise the limit in my second account? Because I'm just selling different items, but it's the same person. I know the same things about customer service, and they will raise your limits in your second account. That's really helpful to us so that you're not basically starting over. You will be starting over with zero feedback in that second account, but at least you won't have you won't have a very low listing limit in that second account. And people think that feedback, I think, is more important than it really is. It definitely is important, but I have found with new accounts that it doesn't stop things. People will still buy from you when you have zero feedback. And then you only need a few feedback to really start the ball rolling, where you'll get more feedback and people will begin to trust you based on the feedback that you have. So people use feedback as a reason not to get started. And that's just so silly, because every single seller on eBay and Amazon started with zero feedback. The biggest sellers started with zero feedback. So just keep that in mind. It does grow. Dan says, how many hours do you generally spend on an average day in your dropshipping business? About 1 at most, because my virtual assistants do everything. Now, from time to time, although this is happening less and less, emergencies come up that I have to deal with, but those are happening less and less. Things just, as time goes on, run more smoothly with my virtual assistants. I'll tell you what I do. I'll tell you what I do for my business still. I pay off my credit cards. I do that once every couple of days so that we are constantly paying off those cards so we can keep using them. I answer any high-level customer service issues, and that's about 3 questions a week at this point. And on Friday mornings, I download that spreadsheet. So this morning, it's Friday. Friday mornings, I download that spreadsheet that has all the orders that I give to my virtual assistants. Every other day, I have another virtual assistant that does it, but she takes Friday mornings off, and it takes me like 2 minutes to do it. So I just do it myself. I probably should tell one of the other VAs to do it, but whatever, I do it. And then the VAs do the research, they do the listings, they do the order fulfillment, they do the customer service, and yeah, that's it. Anytime there's a new strategy change that I want to implement, that's when I come in. So I'll say, hey, we're going to try this new supplier, and I'll spend a lot of time working on it. I'll spend, a couple days, all-nighters or weeks, whatever it takes to really get the ball rolling, put the systems in place, get the virtual assistants trained. And that's where I come in. That's my job. That's my job. I'm not doing the everyday tasks. That's for the virtual assistants to do. I do not drop ship from eBay. If I said that, I misspoke. I don't drop ship from eBay. So World Tour says they got an MC011 restriction on eBay. How do you fix this? Whatever they're asking for, you got to give it to them. And that's the first thing you should do. Okay. Hamio says, how much is your course? So the price is generally doesn't change, but I would click down below. I have the links to both my courses down below. Click on those and and check out what the price is right now. They generally don't change, but in case you're watching this in the future, I don't want to say a price in case it does change. They don't ever go down in price. That's what I'm trying to say. Oh, I have a question for you guys out there. I'm going to put this out there. Maybe someone else has the same experience. So this week I had to call eBay a couple of times. And yeah, so we had a problem. This is something else I do. When we get any sort of case closed against us, like an item not received case closed against us, or a return that's closed against us, it doesn't really happen because my virtual assistants know how to prevent that from happening. But sometimes it does happen. That's when I call eBay to get it removed. So probably get 1 or 2 of those a month. So I had to call eBay twice this week. One was about a case. I'm trying to remember what the second thing was about. I'm kind of blanking on it. But in either case, both times when I called, they put me through to eBay's concierge program. And that's like a level up customer service from eBay. They are like a dedicated support. They just seem to be nicer there, more knowledgeable. They're more willing to help you as a seller. But the thing is, I'm not in the concierge program. So I don't know how I got into that. And I asked the first rep, hey, I'm so glad I'm here, but I never got notified that I'm in the concierge program. And so she looked into it and said, oh, you're not. I don't know why your call was routed to me. So I'm like, oh, okay, I got lucky this time. But then a couple of days later, I called again. And again, I was in the concierge. I was talking to a concierge member. So I'm like, so that time I didn't say anything. I just went with it. But I'm curious if anyone else has ever experienced that before, where they called in and were routed to concierge, even though they're not in the concierge program. Maybe it's because I've been selling so long now, they just kind of put me into it. Or maybe I have a friend inside eBay and don't even know it. So how often do I get paid with eBay dropshipping? Every single day. I get paid every single day because when people pay me, the money comes into my PayPal account. And the great thing about PayPal is now they've set it up where you can automatically withdraw funds. That wasn't available. In the past, you had to go in and withdraw your funds from PayPal. You don't have to do that anymore. It's done automatically. So I set that up so it withdraws twice a week. I don't like to leave my money in PayPal. I've never had an issue with PayPal. They've never closed down my account. I'm knocking on my table because it's wood. Don't want to jinx it. But I've never had an issue with them. But I don't like the idea that they're holding my money. It feels much safer to me inside my business bank accounts. So that's where I like the money to be. Do I think eBay dropshipping, or do I think dropshipping will die? I don't think it's going to die. I think there's always going to be an opportunity for it. Like for instance, this is what I always say. Whenever I do my shopping, I always just go straight to Amazon. I might compare prices on Amazon and say, hey, I need a new table. Let me look at 5 tables on Amazon. Look at quality, look at price, look at features. But ultimately, I'm going to buy from Amazon because that's where I do all my shopping from. So that's what a lot of people do. They either go to eBay, they either go to Amazon, purchase the items. They don't know how to shop on Walmart. They don't know how to shop on Wayfair, Overstock, Home Depot, Target, Walmart, all these other websites. They just want to shop on eBay and Amazon. So for convenience, that is why I don't think it's ever going to die. Not fully. Okay. Um, mhm. A. Kent says, hi, Paul. What sort of experience do you have with WordPress and SKUGrid? What advantages have you found using WordPress versus eBay? So, WordPress is really used to build a blog or build a website. So, for instance, if you go to pauljlipsky.com, go ahead and check that out. That's my website. That's built on WordPress. Actually, I have two websites. pauljlipsky.com is built on WordPress. If you go to dropshippingtitans.com, that's where my courses are. That's not on WordPress. But yeah, that's what WordPress is used for, like build a personal website. eBay is where you sell items. So very different things. You can sell stuff on a WordPress website. It requires like more work for you to do it, I would say. There's like platforms set up for you to sell on your own website. Like if you're going to sell using your own domain, I would use Shopify. They just make it so easy. You don't have to worry about programming, coding. It's like drag and drop kind of stuff. So use what's available to you, right? Don't try to start from scratch with WordPress. I feel like you'd be doing a lot on your own. I'm not positive of that because I've never tried to use WordPress to sell anything. But if you're going to sell stuff, use a platform that exists. And eBay's great because they drive traffic to it. People are there ready to buy your items. Cool. Yeah, exactly, Maxine. So I can hire virtual assistants just to do certain tasks for eBay dropshipping. The first virtual assistant I hired, all he did was take the addresses from eBay and paste them into Home Depot's address book. So when I went to go check out, I could just select the correct address. That's because I had huge trust issues when I started, and I didn't trust a virtual assistant to place orders correctly. And then one day, I just like lost my mind. I was still working a job then, a 9-to-5 job. I was running my eBay store, and it was growing really fast, and I was just overwhelmed. And I said to my virtual assistant, I gave him no training. I just sent him a message saying, "Hey, place all these orders. Here's a credit card code. I'm sorry, here are my gift cards." And that's all I told him. And then I went to sleep because I was just like done. And I woke up in the morning and all the orders were placed. And I checked them all because I was super paranoid and they were all correct. And I was like, why wasn't I doing this the whole time? Why didn't I trust him the whole time? He literally just placed all the orders for me, and it cost me very little to do it, and I saved myself a huge headache. So I just wish I had trusted virtual assistants earlier and started using them earlier. Okay, let's see. Hey, what's up, Brian on Instagram? What's up, man? So Mohammed says he's trying to remove third-party authorizations from his eBay account, and he's not able to do it. So I'm going to talk you through how to do it. It sounds to me like you already know how to do it, and it's just not successful. But for anyone else who's watching, third-party authorizations, what they are is that you can authorize different programs to work with your eBay account, and that's helpful sometimes. So like, for instance, I have like a bookkeeping software that's connected to my eBay account. That's helpful. Different listing softwares are endorsed by eBay, like InkFrog, so you can connect those. But some people want to disconnect them and revoke that permission. So if you go into your site preferences on eBay and just hit Control F and search for third party, and it will come up, third party authorizations, click on it. And then you'll see a whole list, and you can put a check mark next to all the ones you want to revoke. And down at the bottom will be a button, and that should remove those third-party authorizations. If that doesn't work, that's something on eBay's end. I'm not sure why that wouldn't work. It's always worked for me. So you have to kind of listen to what eBay says at that point. Sorry, I can't really help you any more than that. Hey, what's up, Johnny? Okay. Let's see. Okay, so good question from Celestina. Says, what hours do your virtual assistants work? Do they work during US time or their local time? So most of my virtual assistants are from the Philippines, but some of them are from India. 3 of them are from India. And when do they work? They mostly work during their time. And the reason for that is because I don't think it's that important to get most of the tasks done during the daytime here. So for instance, the customer service, as long as it gets done within 24 hours, I'm happy, and the customers are usually happy. So they'll ask a question during the day today, they go to sleep, in the morning, they get a response. So that works out really well for that. Order fulfillment, they place, I have a virtual assistant that does them at night for me, and another virtual assistant that does it in the morning for me. So there's a 12-hour difference there. So those ones kind of work during the daytime for me, the ones in the morning. And yeah, and definitely something like listing items that can be done any time of the day. Very flexible schedule for them. I always pay my eBay fees with a credit card because I like the points and the cash back that you get with that. So Oleg says, do you need to get an LLC to become a business to get an EIN? The reason I ask is in reference to tax exempt status. I want to get tax exempt because I'm starting out and taxes are killing my profit. So I definitely recommend that you become tax exempt and do it correctly. You don't need to become an LLC to get an EIN. You can get one as a sole proprietor. So Dropship Jason says, what advice would you give someone looking to get into Amazon dropshipping? So the advice that I would give you is make sure you really understand Amazon before you get started. It is a very different beast from eBay, and it has a lot of rules and a lot of algorithms that what's really nice about them is that they're a bit more transparent about what they're looking for from their sellers in order to take advantage of their algorithm. So you want to know all that going into it. Specifically more about the metrics and their rules. The algorithm stuff you can figure out later as you're selling and kind of get experience with it, but because if you make a mistake with the algorithm, it doesn't matter. It just means you're not going to make as many sales. But if you mess up the metrics, if you mess up all the rules, that can get you in trouble, and sometimes there's no coming back from it. So I don't want to scare you guys with this. Just make sure you understand that part before you get started. Okay. Let's see. Okay, so Ron says, Walmart's charging me $5.99 shipping fee on orders under $35. Is there a way to get around that? No, there's not, unless you buy 2 or 3 of the items so that they're together more than $35, but you would have to ship all those to the same customer. If you see other people selling it so cheap that they cannot possibly be paying that $5.99, that means they are either not drop shipping or they have really discounted gift cards. Okay, so let's see if I have some more questions from this week. I think I answered all of them. Don't want to miss one. Okay, so another question says, should I get started with Amazon FBA, Shopify dropshipping, eBay dropshipping? Again, I'm going to answer this in another video coming up soon, so make sure to subscribe to the channel so you don't miss that video. Let's see. Lord Mlock on Instagram said, has your team noticed that Home Depot has stopped accepting multiple gift cards on an order. We haven't noticed that, but we did notice that their website's been a little glitchy recently where they're tax exempt. You would apply the tax exempt number and then it would apply, and then on the last screen after the checkout, the money would be added back in, so we have to contact Home Depot and get it removed. That seems to be a glitch on their website. We haven't noticed anything with the gift cards. I'm just going to write it down so we can check it, because we tend not to really use a ton of gift cards on one order, but I'll look into that. Any more questions here on Instagram that I haven't answered? Cool. Do I believe that PayPal will end in 2020? I believe that eBay is coming away from PayPal, but PayPal will still be around, I think. Definitely. Let's see. So how do I select a profitable item to dropship from Amazon to eBay? No matter what supplier you're using, the process for product research is always the same for me. So I'm not going to go into it because I explain it really, really well inside my free introduction to eBay dropshipping, which I have down below. So underneath this video will be a link to a free introduction course to eBay dropshipping. Check that out because I explain the exact product research formula that I use, and that's what you should use whether you're dropshipping from Amazon, from Walmart, from Home Depot, whatever the supplier is onto eBay. That is the same for all of them, the same formula. Let's see. How much do I pay my virtual assistants? Again, about $2 an hour, or salaried, usually about $500 a month if they're working full time. Cool. How do I do bookkeeping for cash back? You got to speak to your CPA about that because there's so many differing opinions. It gets a little bit complicated when you are a business as opposed to a personal credit card used just for personal use. So those are the questions you want to kind of talk to your CPA about. All right, so I think we're coming up on an hour here, but if anyone has any last minute questions, I'd be happy to answer them for you. But cool. Hey, what's up, Swiggle? Cool. All right, guys. So we will call this a day right now. Thanks everyone who came out, asked a lot of great questions. If you guys got any value out of this video, make sure to give this video a big thumbs up. Smash the like button down below. Hey guys, thanks so much for watching. Make sure to subscribe to the channel. And as usual, I will see you guys next time. Bye for now.